record button. Hopefully everything's going well. Hi, my name is Susan Simkowski. Somebody's got their mic open. If you can mute it until we have questions, that'd be great because I'm getting a little feedback, so I'd appreciate it. Thank you. I'm with Western Governors University, and I'm going to be talking about the RN to BSN online program today. If you have the ability to follow along, I'm going to be using our website, wgu.edu, so don't hesitate to look at that. I'll send over this recording to Michael Anderson as well as the transfer information that I have highlighted here. So let me just try to get my act together. That worked out easier than I thought it would.
Class today, there's a fucking link for education day.
Okay, just to let you know, I can hear you. So if you have questions, that's great. WGU is the University of U. We have 4 colleges within the university, and I'm going to be explaining the health and nursing. Before I get started, I also want to let you know that I have an expert in your particular area with me. His name is Rod Henderson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my presentation. I have a couple places for questions, so don't hesitate at those times, to ask, and then I'll let Rod wrap it up. So that's my plan. It should take about 12 minutes. I've timed it. So again, this is WGU, Western Governors University, and we have 4 colleges: business, IT, health and nursing, and teaching. And some of these degrees do, with regard to the master's degree, do kind of blend. You can take some of those. Let me just show you quickly. So after you get your bachelor's, if you decide to, continue, which I hope you do, there's other degrees here for you. But let's get back into your particular degree. There's 5 bachelor's degrees in healthcare, and we're going to be focusing today on the nursing RN to BSN online. The beauty of that is because you'll be working in the field, it's online, so you can take it at your own pace, your own time. I'm going to focus on a couple things today. I'm going to talk about how attainable a degree from WGU is, why it's affordable, and also how supportive it is. And that's really why I'm here, is because it's super supportive. Other people are concerned about the money that's involved. So we'll talk about all those things. So there's course competencies that we'll dive into, the cost and time, the flexibility. So one thing that I like to think about it with regard to the schedule is we're on 6-month terms rather than 3.5-month semesters. So your fees are for 6 months, your tuition and your fees. The beauty of that is I kind of like to think about it as, instead of all you can eat in 6 months, it's all you can complete in 6 months. So I'm looking at, let me go back up here. Okay, so I'm looking at the courses. If there's something that you're really good at, you're like, I'm a real tech person, and you think you can get through this particular course in, maybe 2-3 weeks, you certainly may, and then move on to the next one. So it's at your own pace for you, which is really cool. So typically these courses are designed for about 5 weeks, but if you, bring something to it that, and you really, maybe have the time, or you really have the inclination, you're really into policy and economics, then, finish it early. Something else might, life might get in the way, and it might take you a little longer. The other beauty of our courses is they're competency based, which means, the skill set that you bring, the education, the knowledge, the expertise that you bring all count. And we do have a transfer sheet for LDCC, and I'll send that over to Michael too. So like I said, it's an attainable degree. It's a flat fee for 6 months. It's competency based, and so it's not measured in time. If you don't have to wait 3.5 months, you can do it in 3 weeks if that's what you desire. So so that's why it's attainable. Typically people take about a 1.5 years to complete a 4-year degree. Some people take a little longer, a little less. It just depends on, what your goals and what you have time set aside. So just looking at this as far as the affordable component here, it's if you do it in a year and a half, like is relatively typical, it'll cost a little less than 13,000. If you go the traditional 2 years, it's a little over 17,000. Now, I want to point out something with this cost breakdown. This is it. This is all you're paying for. Okay, I'm going to go back to the year and a half. So there's tuition, there's a few fees, and the healthcare professions fee. So all of that for under $13,000. The reason I bring that up, for example, I used to work at a different university, and that university had really reasonable tuition, but we had mandatory fees. So we had we had 43 mandatory fees tacked on to your tuition. It was almost as much as the tuition, so it nearly doubled it. So that's something you have to be cautious about too. Here it is, it's right there. The other beauty is we're a not-for-profit university, so you don't have to worry that we're accountable to shareholders, we're accountable to you. So that's also something that's very important to us. Now, we also have scholarships available. So I'm going to go up to the banner on the WGU, go to tuition, go to scholarships. There are many different types of scholarships. I'm going to focus in on the ones that are geared towards your particular field. So you can go down here. There's also an FAQ if you scroll further down. But I'm just going to show you some of these. So our scholarships range typically from $1,500 to about $5,000. You can get, I encourage you to apply for as many as you want. You probably will get one. Okay, there's anybody over during the first 90 days and 30 days after you start your program. It's usually not more than one. There's no guarantee, of course. It's a scholarship, so you have to qualify. Okay, any questions yet? All right, I'm going to go back the same way I got in. So I told you that it was attainable, very affordable. And then the last thing I want to linger on.
Susan, I think you're muted. If you can hear me, I think you're muted. This is Rod.
Yeah, oops, I overclicked. I happily clicked. See, and that's why I wouldn't.
Go back about 10 seconds and go from there.
Okay. So I'm assuming that you heard how affordable we were. I apologize for that. I'm busy over here, clicky, click, click. But we're very supportive too. And in that regard, we have enrollment coordinators. So if you apply, you'll get an enrollment coordinator who will help you decide.
I think you did it again.
Okay, I'm just going to keep this up.
All right.
I'm not even touching it. So I appreciate you being here so somebody can tell me that. So anyhow, you have did you hear me talk about the enrollment coordinators?
That's where you left off.
Okay. So after you talk to your enrollment coordinator, and once you're into the program, you'll get a program mentor. And this is somebody that's with you every step of the way until you graduate. The cool thing about the program mentor is for the first 6 months, you meet every week. And then it's up to you and your mentor if you want to meet continue that schedule if you want to back off. So a lot of students say that is something they really appreciate because it holds them accountable. And it's a guide on your side. It's your own personal cheerleader. So it's very cool. Of course, you have the program mentor that's going to be with you throughout your program, but you also have instructors. So each course has an instructor. And I have friends that work as instructors for WGU. And one of the things that I think is very cool is they meet your needs. So if if you have a shift from, I don't know, 3 to 11 and you get off, chances are that you can, ask questions of your instructor at midnight. So, of course, you're going to, let's try to arrange it, but you have that ability and that flexibility to, meet with an instructor either one-on-one or, just small groups, things like that. So people are there for you to support you. If you want a study group, there's certainly those. We have student clubs, things like that. So it's the typical things that you're used to at LDCC. We continue that process. One more thing that I want to point out is you can look at this on your own, but I mentioned the affordability, the attainability, and it's accelerated. So that's very cool. I heard someone yesterday, a student who's very on fire at the fact that they could finish early. So that's exciting too. And lastly, the one thing that I want to point out is we're accredited. So Western Governors University, as you can guess, started out in the west part of the country. And so we're accredited by our Northwest Commission on Colleges and University. There's 5 accreditation bodies in the country. So our degree, we have reciprocity with everybody. So our degree is the same as if you got a degree at University of Louisiana, Monroe, LSU, University of Memphis, it doesn't matter. And if you wanted to go on, let's say you moved to Hawaii, you could get your degree in Hawaii and our, a master's degree, whatever you want, or you could always finish with us. We'd love to have you. So that's one more thing with regard to accreditation is we're also accredited by the Commission of Collegiate Nursing and Education. So WGU is really one of the best kept secrets in higher ed. It's usually word of mouth. I've been following WGU for about 5 years now, and I was very excited when I had the opportunity to be here. And again, WGU is really the University of You. Thank you. Any questions? I'll open it up for questions, and if not, then I'll move on and have Rod.
I had a question.
Okay.
I had been looking into Western Governors University for a little while, and one thing that I had come across was we are not actually assigned letter grades. We're only assigned pass or fail, and that might cause issues if we want to seek like NP or a higher degree. Is that the case? Can you explain a little bit more about the grading system?
Rod, do you want to take that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We do not assign letter grades. It is essentially a pass or fail, and it's something that we have had many questions on. Typically, if you are looking at either transferring to another college or university, or if you're looking at furthering your education, we work individually with those institutions to sort of work through those concerns because you're absolutely correct. You are not assigned a letter grade. You are essentially assigned a pass or fail. So I guess to answer your question, we handle those concerns on an individual basis. And to my understanding, to my knowledge, we've been able to effectively take care of those issues individually. So if you were to have that kind of problem, or if you were to have that kind of concern, we'd assign somebody to work with you and the institution to ensure that they get everything they need to essentially give you the credit that you're going to be looking for. Hopefully that answered your question a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, we're fully supportive. One thing that Susan pointed out, particularly with individual mentors and the really wealth of individuals that work with you during your experience at Western Governors. Anytime you run into an issue of any kind, I can assure you we've got somebody there to help address it. And obviously that includes if in fact you were looking at transferring to another college or university and needed help with the transition from, of course, our grading system to a letter grading system.
Yeah, that's more of a concern if you don't finish than it is if you finish, if you complete. Because We also, our faculty, for example, or have terminal degrees or are experts in their field. So we're comparable to most universities. It's just the grading system that's different. Anybody else? Rod, anything else you want to add?
Well, no, I think you did a pretty comprehensive job in explaining everything. You know, I guess the only thing that I'd add in closing is, you know, first of all, we're very excited. Looks like we had nearly 20. I guess we had quite a few people. I'm showing over 26. Looks like 30 people that joined us today, including, I guess, you and I, Susan. But that being said, if you have any questions or if you have any if you need any additional information going forward, obviously you can reach out to Susan Simkowski, and she'll be happy to address those questions. You know, obviously you have hopefully my information as well. Feel free to email me and we'll be happy to address questions for you as well. But outside of that, I think you did a very, very good job, Susan, in kind of explaining everything. And
Thank
we
you.
encourage those who attended today to you know, not only talk to your friends, but you know, talk to your advisors. Ask anybody about Western Governors. I think a lot of people are now familiar with us. One thing that Susan didn't get an opportunity to maybe talk about is currently we have over 130,000 students around the country that's currently enrolled at Western Governors. So I can assure you we have an army of support for you. So for those who are looking at transferring from a community college like Louisiana Delta or any other community college that we have partnerships with, articulation agreements with, you could literally look at coming to Western Governors with an associate's degree. On the average, you could look at completing your bachelor's degree at Western Governors within about 18 months. And that's because, of course, our competency-based education model, which really does put the education in your hands. You take the education as you need to take it. There are so many advantages, I think, to online education, but one of the key advantages, of course, is the fact that you do it at your own time and at your own pace. So for those working adults and for people who have families at home and families to take care of, this is really truly a very practical, very really sensible way to take care and achieve your own personal goals, while at the same time it not being a hindrance to taking care of your other personal obligations, such as family and other things that you may have to do. So, so as we always say, we're not for everybody, but we are certainly for people who have the discipline to take online education, and for those who want to achieve their goals, but at the same time take care of their families and other things that they are obligated to do. So, it's been a pleasure.
If you have any
Again,
other further, sorry, if you have any further questions, I'm going to drop this video over with Michael Anderson and also some other things, and then you can, you know, don't hesitate to ask me questions. He's got my contact information, and I'll give you back the 1 minute. Have a great
fantastic.
day. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. I think Susan may have left, but I'm still here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have any other questions, feel free to fire away before we hang up. I could probably hang out till the top of the hour.